Hey folks, and welcome back to the channel. So before we dive into this, don't forget to drop a subscription, don't forget to like, don't forget to drop a comment. Those three things are what really helps this channel out. It really helps me stay in this seat, and it really helps me keep bringing you good updates to keep you in the loop. It's so important to be kept in the loop, isn't it? Not to just see things on a screen sometimes, but to hear someone maybe speak about those things. With this discussion, there's a lot that you need to understand about our blockchain and the kind of like excess fat we're carrying. And what I mean by excess fat is all of the different stables. So if I just go over to my validators commission, we can see this quite simply, all of the different excess stable coins. And these are all part of the previous dream of the Terra Luna ecosystem prior to the collapse. And all of these being a working part of the actual UST swapping ecosystem. Now, with all of this excess fat comes lots of different ways for somebody to mint coins. And what I mean by this is we've seen exploits through KRTC and things like that happen before. And that's what kind of led to this rash decision of the way they went about the whole stopping minting and reminting of USTC, because there are ways that still make it kind of possible. It's a really peculiar situation because what you need to understand is somebody can, in relative terms, they can do a swap and they can bring USTC out of some of these swapping pools and these sort of derelict chicken fat area, these sort of chicken fat areas. Stop saying that. These areas that are just not part, it's all part of this dream. And I understand there's all these different people that want to repeg USTC, want to do all these amazing things, but ultimately they lack the collateral. You know, USTC is distributed out of the commission pool now. That wasn't like that before. You've got all of these different problems, and it's at this point, it's all just causing us more harm than good. And I think there's going to come a certain point when we need to go to ourselves, right, we're actually two different systems. There's USTC and all these chicken fat stables. And then there's us, the lunatic community. And what I mean by that is you're either one or the other. I rarely find someone who's really supportive of both sides of this, because ultimately, if you want to repeg USTC, it's going to come at the detriment of the LUNC chain. And I just don't think that decentralized money is the way forward. Yes, it is a way forward, but I just don't think it is the way forward for our chain. We don't have the kind of collective thought and teams that other people have to even attempt to bring a stable asset into the world. I mean, you are talking billions of dollars of collateral, billions of dollars of collateral. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Now, with this, there are potential pros, there are potential cons. The cons are kind of what I've been saying. I don't really see this as a con, and it will be swapping between the stable and all of the ones that I just showed you. Strafe's put a nice example in here, but it means all of them. It will be disabled. You know, you won't have all of these different exploits to worry about consistently all the time. Instead, just patching it, leaving it where it is. And if somebody wants to pick it all up and go down the route of USTC, they can re-enable this sort of thing later on down the line if they did intend to use all of these different assets instead of just going for UST. Most people have wanted to go for all of them, you know, repeg all of them, use all of them, bring back the dream. And I get it. We all need to have dreams, but we also need to be realists about the situation. We are not a chain frivolous with support, developers, and great ideas and these sort of great minds that want to build for the chain. Instead, we're infested with parasites and rent-seeking behavior of people that have come here to drain our community pool, to then just fob off and go launch on loads of, you know, oh, we've spun up on this chain and we're doing this for this chain. Yeah, well, brilliant. Great. Good for you. Really proves my point from start to beginning of them not actually being here for the chain. And yeah, it's insane. So for me, I want to see this happen because the mechanism was disabled for LUNC stable by raising the spread to 100% during the crash, effectively disabling swapping from LUNC through the market module. So for swapping stables to stable instead of the spread, a Tobin tax is used, setting the Tobin tax to 100%, effectively disable swapping the corresponding assets. So this is all to fulfill a proposal which was 11784. We can go back and we can see this, and the L1TF already implemented a code change to introduce a new governance parameter that specifically allows setting a Tobin tax for swaps to USTC, the only action that mints USTC. Yeah, that's right, you heard it, mints USTC. So as there is no real exit route from stables other than USTC anyway, it was discussed that to simply raise all Tobin taxes for all stables to 100% instead of a code change. And this has a side effect of disabling market swaps between all stables instead of just swaps to USTC. So this proposal aims to do as mentioned and raise the Tobin for all stables to 100%, effectively disabling all market swapping and such minting of coins on Terra Classic. And this is really important, right? Because for example, if you've got your parents to invest and you've taught your parents to use that multiple coin swap feature, yeah, well, they're paying to get rid of those coins, and that shouldn't even be allowed. We are supposed to cater to a populace of people that are not crypto literate. And if we want to sort of cater to this sort of environment, we need to ensure that we're preventing people from making silly mistakes, that we're more or less providing the option for them to make those silly mistakes. So for me, this is really important moving forward, and it's all part of the stabilization plan that I'm sort of going through in my head of patching the system before we move forward. So for me, this is going to be a big yes. And like I said, I get it. If you're a USTC fan, I totally get it. And I'll support anything as long as it's not someone just trying to take $40,000 from the chain again, of course. But I will support anybody's campaign to do this as long as it's not at the detriment of our own chain. And like I said, there's going to come a point, as much as you want to sit there, you want to bicker, you want to argue, where you're going to have to dissect this into two coins, because they are two coins. And for all intent and purposes, like I said, it's billions of dollars you're going to need in collateral to even make an attempt at a repeg, let alone trying to fix the distribution of what comes out of the commission pool. Because the only way to fix that is to simply say to you all, we've got to remove your USTC commission. You want to repeg? Well, we've got to remove all your commission. And you're not going to be happy about that, right? All of this lovely USTC commission you've been getting suddenly just gets yanked away. And as it stands, the chain probably wouldn't do too well if we rebalance that out with just LUNC rewards. In fact, the depletion rate would probably increase so heavily. So like I said, a lot of rent-seeking behavior on chain, and we need to start to try to correct things from the core downwards. And this whole idea of looking at the system as a funnel and looking at all of these small little things we need to do, and just as simple as just disabling all the market swaps. Because like I said, it's just chicken fat. It's all just excess fat that you don't want for the main course. And realistically, as the bull run comes, we need to get ourselves into a position where there's a route paved ahead. And if there's not a team leading the way, at least somebody's lighting the road ahead and saying, look, you know, guys, this is where we could go. This is what we could utilize. And this is kind of what we need to do to achieve that. Then that's realistically all we need as a decentralized community, because ultimately everything comes down to governance. If you respect the system, right, you do everything correctly. It doesn't matter what you've spoken about behind the scenes or what you intend to do, as long as you put it through governance and you obey governance down to the T. And then you don't actually have any problems. And this all comes down to that simple equation of DeFi being the 21st century relative of a handshake of two people back in the Middle Ages, whatever, simply going, yep, I'm going to do this, you're going to do that, shake on it. And that's what we end up with decentralization. And if we want this all to work, then everybody's got to respect the rules of law and the way things go. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what I always like about what we're doing here, because ultimately, yeah, we're working behind the scenes and yeah, we're putting all of these things forward, but we don't get the say and sway in any of this. We always put it to governance, and it comes down to a decentralized vote. And that's the same as what I did with the all nodes infrastructure. I didn't start shouting and screaming and preaching from the top of the things. I just did everything through the correct lanes of communication. Went through governance and we've done everything correctly. So it's not like we don't have people who have the ability to just stick by governance and do what is supposed to be done. You know, it's like filing your taxes, right? You file your taxes in a very specific manner because that's the guideline that's been set out. Well, our chain has a guideline, but a lot of people fail to follow it time and time again. Folks, let me know what you think about all of this. I think it's high time I almost coughed then. There you go. Couldn't help myself, could I? I'm not even going to edit that out. I'm just going to leave it in. Why not? It's high time we got rid of any kind of minting, any kind of swaps, and any kind of possible routes someone can create an arbitrage. Or, you know, people are very intelligent. People are that intelligent, they caused the crash of this coin, which is one of the biggest black swan events in crypto from what I'm aware. But yeah, folks, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and as always, catch you in the next one.